Try to remember your second birthday? Go on, actually try. The cake, the candles, whoever was holding you, the sound of the room. You cannot. And it is not because nothing happened. Something happened almost every single day. You learned to walk, you learned your own name, you saw snow for maybe the first time, you laughed so hard you could not breathe. You had, statistically, some of the happiest days of your entire life back then, and your brain deleted almost all of it. Nearly every human being on Earth is missing the first few years of their own existence. And for a long time, nobody could explain why. But the answer, once you hear it, is going to change how you think about memory, about your parents, and about the person you used to be. Scientists have a name for this: infantile amnesia, and here is how strangely specific it is. Most adults cannot recall almost anything from before the age of 3, and only patchy fragments before the age of 7. Think about that. An entire human being learning language, forming attachments, discovering that the world exists, and then a thick curtain falls over all of it. And the wild part is, you were not a blank little potato back then. Studies show that a 2-year-old can remember things that happened months ago. The memories were there. A toddler clearly has a past. So the mystery was never whether children make memories. They do. The mystery is where those memories go. So let's start with the obvious suspect, the brain itself. The part of your brain most responsible for filing away personal memories is called the hippocampus. Think of it as the brain's librarian, the one who takes an experience and shelves it so you can find it later. But in a baby, that librarian is barely on the job. The hippocampus is still under heavy construction for the first few years of life. Now, here's where it gets counterintuitive. You might think a baby brain is just too underpowered to save memories. But it is almost the opposite. The baby brain is growing so fast, packing in new neurons at a furious rate, that it may actually be overwriting older memories in the process. Imagine trying to keep one clean chalk drawing on a board while someone keeps frantically drawing brand new pictures on top of it. That constant explosion of growth might be scribbling over the very memories it just made. And for a long time, that was just a theory. Till the mice. A neuroscientist named Paul Frankland ran a set of experiments that are genuinely stunning. His team took young mice, taught them a specific memory, and confirmed the mice forgot it, just like human babies forget. Normal, infantile amnesia. But then they did something out of science fiction. Using a technique that lets researchers tag and reactivate specific memory cells with light, they went back into the adult mouse brain, found the exact cells that held that forgotten baby memory, and switched them back on. And the memory came back. The mouse suddenly remembered. Let that sink in for a second. The memory was not erased. It was still physically there, locked in the brain, just the key was gone. Your first steps, your first words, that whole lost world might not be deleted at all. It might just be a room you can no longer find the door to, but a broken librarian is only half the story. Because there is a second reason those years vanished, and it is a little more philosophical. When you were a baby, you had no language, and it turns out that words are one of the main hooks we use to hang memories on. Think about how you actually remember your day. You remember it as a story. I went here, then this person said that, then I felt this way. Memory is basically narration, but a 1-year-old has no narration. There is no inner voice yet, no words to label the experience, no story to file it under. The experiences were pure sensation, color and warmth and fear and milk, with no language wrapped around them. And a memory with no words to hold on to is like trying to grab smoke. It was real. It just had nothing to stick to. And then there is the deepest reason of all, and this one is beautiful. To remember something happening to you, you first need a you. You need a sense of self, a main character, an I that the story is happening to. And babies are not born with that. For the first year or two, there is barely a line between you and the world, between your hand and your mother and the ceiling. The self is still being assembled. Scientists even test for this with a mirror. Put a small mark on a baby's forehead and show them a mirror, and before about 18 months, they do not reach for their own head. They do not yet fully get that the baby in the mirror is them. And here is the haunting thought. You cannot remember being that baby, because in a real sense, that specific you did not exist yet. There was no one home to write the diary. The lights were on, but the author had not shown up. So does that mean those years were wasted? Not even close. And this is the part that should genuinely move you. Just because you cannot consciously recall those years does not mean they left no mark. In fact, they may be the most important years you will ever live. Everything from that time got saved somewhere else, not as memories you can replay, but as the very shape of who you are, the way you trust people or do not, whether the world feels safe or dangerous, how you react when someone raises their voice, your deepest, most automatic sense of whether you are loved. All of that was being carved into you during the exact years you cannot remember. You do not have the footage, but you are living inside the edit. Your childhood is not gone, it became you. And this is where it gets emotional. So stay with me. Think about your parents or whoever raised you. During those first few years, they were probably more exhausted, more terrified, and more in love than they had ever been in their lives. They woke up at 3 a.m, again and again, for you. They celebrated your first tooth like it was a moon landing. They have entire memories of you. Precious ones that you will never, ever share. They remember your first word. You do not. They remember the day you took your first step across the living room floor. You were there and you remember nothing. It is one of the quiet, strange heartbreaks of being human. The people who loved you most got to keep the memories. You just got to keep the person they made. Now here is a small twist that makes it even stranger. This forgetting does not stop sharply at age 3. Memory researchers like the psychologist Patricia Bauer describe something called childhood amnesia offset, a slow fade that continues for years. Your memories from age 3 are thin. Age 5, a few clear islands. Age 7, the picture starts to hold together. It is not a wall, it is a fog that slowly lifts. And even the memories you do keep from childhood are not really recordings. Every time you remember something, your brain rebuilds it and quietly edits it. So a lot of your oldest childhood memories are not the event at all. They are memories of the last time you remembered it, copied and recopied, like a photo of a photo of a photo. Some of your most treasured childhood memories might be things you actually saw in a family video, or heard as a story so many times that your brain simply filed it as your own. So what really happened to your childhood? It was not deleted, not fully. The hardware was still being built, so it could not file things properly. You had no words to tie the memories down, and there was not yet a full you for it all to happen to. So the experiences slipped beneath the surface, out of reach of memory, but not out of reach of you. They sank down into the foundation and became the structure everything else is built on. You do not remember learning that the world was safe, or that you were loved, or that you were not. You just walk around today quietly believing it. That is what a childhood really is. Not a set of memories you carry, a set of memories that carry you. So the next time you look at a photo of yourself as a small child, that tiny stranger with your eyes, do not feel sad that you cannot remember being them. Instead, try this. That little kid did the hardest work of your entire life. They learned an entire language from nothing. They figured out that they were a person. They built the emotional foundation you are still standing on right now, today, watching this. And then, like a good architect, they quietly disappeared and left the house standing. You will never remember them, but you are the proof they were here. So maybe the real question was never why you forgot your childhood. Maybe it is just, what is your life building right now that some future you will feel but never quite remember?